I loved Joker Folie A Deux. A lot of people clearly didn't enjoy the film, and there are two main reasons why people didn't like it. First, it is a freaking musical. I personally love musicals, albeit I mostly watch animated ones. If you are a subscriber of this channel, you know that I often talk about musicals, and Has Been Hotel is currently my most streamed album of the year by a significant margin. Most people, however, don't like musicals, which leads us to reason number two. Number two, it is not what people wanted. This might be shocking to lots of people, but I love creativity when it comes to art. And boy, the sequel of Joker is creative, whether you like it or not. Todd Phillips and Warner Brothers decided to make something that is so different from the first film. If the first one was basically Taxi Driver for millennials/zoomers, a story of a regular guy who is crushed by the society, which turned him into a murderer, only vaguely based on DC comic books and a comic book character known as Joker. Despite being derivative, Joker was a very decent film with some really good performances, especially by Joaquin Phoenix. The sequel is a musical/courtroom drama. There are only two real locations in this film, Arkham Mental Asylum and the courtroom itself. While musical numbers happen in Arthur's fevered imagination, as he tries to cope with pretty grim reality around. Joker 2 is not what fans of DC Comics or the first film really expected. Plus, this film breaks the fourth wall pretty hard, which fans obviously didn't like. In the universe of the movie, after Arthur was institutionalized at the end of the first Joker, a film about Arthur was made, which spawned a whole fan base of Joker fans who wanted him to be freed from persecution for his crimes. Lee, played by Lady Gaga, is one of those fans. Honestly, this is the second time in the last 3 weeks I see a portrayal of a crazy fan. The first time was in a hell of a short. That's an interesting coincidence, I should say. In one of the musical scenes, Arthur sings and dances with Lee, and then he stops because he feels like it's not something that fans expect Joker and Harley Quinn would do, which directly pokes fun at the comic book fans. I don't think it was very clever, to be honest, but I like the moment nonetheless. It feels like Todd Phillips made the sequel deliberately to piss off as many fans as possible. It really feels like he didn't want to make a sequel, didn't feel like the sequel was even needed, but the studio told him he had to make a sequel, so he decided to film a huge middle finger and point it at people's expectations. People like that Arthur Fleck turned into Joker at the end. Well, he becomes Arthur Fleck again, and there is not a single empowering scene with Joker. Arthur/Joker is shown to be pathetic, psychotic, and constantly abused by the guards in Arkham. Todd Phillips knew nobody wanted the sequel to be a musical, and so it became a musical. Comic book fans wanted more connection to the comic books, while the sequel has even less to do with comic books than the first one. At least the 2019 movie had Bruce Wayne, aka future Batman, in it, but Folie A Deux got nothing. Harvey Dent could be a regular attorney named John Jackson Jr., and nothing would have changed at all. Him becoming Two-Face at the end even feels a bit insulting. Harley Quinn is not Harley Quinn from the comics either. Some complained that the film was too edgy. There is one presumably rape scene involved, and for mainstream people it's already too much. The people who call the Joker sequel too edgy are probably the same people who love freaking Deadpool and Wolverine. Gosh, I hate that film. Wanna talk about it? Well, fine. Deadpool and Wolverine feels more like a Comic-Con cosplay show than an actual film. It is just an endless brainless fan service parade for people who hate watching actual movies. With a story that could be written in 2 Microsoft Word pages. Hollywood and the entertainment industry in general made mainstream people enjoy only very predictable, safe, and inoffensive stuff, something like the MCU has been pumping out for over a decade. The situation around Joker 2 reminds me of The Last of Us Part 2. That game is also widely hated exactly because it subverts the expectations of the fans. The fans expected a cool adventure where you play as Joel, shoot infected and bandits, but they got something entirely different from what they expected. People have grown too adamant to something that challenges them. People want something very safe and predictable. Shows, movies, music, just look at the most popular music these days. Joker 2 proves this concept again. To be fair, I don't think it's a perfect film. Absolutely not. Lady Gaga was underused in my opinion. The musical scenes could be more creative, but I think the direction of the film was to deliberately make all the scenes look as grounded as possible. Although it's Arthur's imagination, so the music could certainly go more grandiose. Overall, I like the film a lot. The first one was definitely better made and it certainly didn't need a sequel, but I'm at least glad that the sequel went more creative than it could. And I'm still surprised that Warner Brothers allowed Todd Phillips to make this film. They could fire him or force him into making something more compelling to mainstream viewers, like Joker becoming a criminal boss of Gotham and rallying poor folks against the establishment, leading some kind of revolution. I'm sure this is what most people expected instead of a very meta courtroom drama / musical. Anyway, share your opinion on this film. I'd like to hear what you thought of this movie, and see you again.